I'm starting this summer picking up more potential wonder kids from Japan for a really cheap cost. As important as it may be to keep buying players from the nation you're in, I'm enjoying signing players from all over the globe. And once again, the board are prepared to improve the training facilities, which will help players like Rene Pedersen, who is another player that we've snapped up, and another Danish player. Plays as a striker right now, but lacks the pace. Still, for £3.5 million, I'm not complaining. I think I've decided on my Nelson Viper replacement. From Inter Milan, Matteo Turin, and for only £19.75 million as well. He's happy to be a squad player this season, but I'm genuinely tempted to find out if any clubs want to come in for Viper, seeing as Turin is happy to sign for such a cheap wage. Look out defenders, because a couple of players including Jensen has just learnt to beat the offside trap for a player trait as well. The good thing about signing all of these players so young is that in a couple of seasons they are qualified as homegrown talents, which is perfect for registration purposes. Rumours are starting to come in about Nelson Viper, so I'm going to put out the feelers and see if somebody bites with 4 clubs that are interested. Also picking up this Spanish winger from Villarreal. He's not amazing, but he's literally cost me less than £1 million. And that's honestly all of our budget spent now, and there's a bid from Sociedad from Medina, but there's no way I'm selling him. First game of the season is here already, and Turin has an injury, so Viper keeps his starting position for now, and there's no new faces in the starting 11. And for once, we were not playing Sevilla in the first game, and instead an away trip to Bilbao, which can be tricky. Not today, mind. We played like we were a league or two above the Basque side, scoring 5 goals in total and having 15 shots on target with nearly 60% possession. An unbelievable way to start the season, with both Krupi and Viper scoring a brace, and Bayern's getting off the mark too. Man of the match though went to the left back Cesar Torres for his 3 assists and his 10 out of 10 rating. What a player. Hilariously, to the schedule makers of La Liga, we played Sevilla in the second game of the season. And David Medina picks up a torn muscle and is out for 3 months. Brilliant. Nothing that our backup goalie can do, in your defense lets just players run through right after you scored. And we drew the game 2-2. And then our backup goalkeeper got injured as well, which means our only goalkeeper not injured right now is Kenji Sakamoto. However, he still counts as a non-EU player, so to register him we have to remove another, as we already have 3 out of 3, and that means Takata will be moved for a short period of time. Viper keeps complaining about the lack of squad depth for goalkeepers, and that's annoyed me, so I just dropped him. But that didn't affect our performance, and Turin even scored during this emphatic win. It is annoying though, 2 big injuries, so I'm playing a third choice goalkeeper, and that's hardly showing a lack of squad depth in that position. But anyway, we won 6-2 away to Levante. More injuries followed though, with Krupi this time out for months. And then Prestiani, who was injured during a fall at training. What? As the transfer window closed, we faced Osasuna, and I fully rotated the team because of the injuries. Miguel Pons had a fantastic time, scoring 2 goals and a 4-0 home win. And it's Real Madrid up next. But still, with a backup goalkeeper and 2 of our key players in Krupi and Prestiani missing from injury, the task of beating Real Madrid was way too difficult, and we fell 2 goals behind quite early on. Miguel Pons did make it 2-1 and gave us hope, but Bellingham restored Madrid's 2-goal advantage and then made it 4-1 from the penalty spot. We had a penalty of our own though, scored by Turin for 4-2. But that set a precedent on how bad this month is going to be, with 2 poor draws and a loss to Barcelona, with the win over Juventus being the only good result, seeing our good start to the season end. Thankfully, our form improved immediately, and we started October with 2 emphatic 3-0 victories, with the first being at home to Getafe, and the second was an even better away win to Real Betis, with the goals being spread out, as well as a lot coming down that right hand side, where Kawasaki got man of the match, picking up a lot of key passes and 1 assist. Carrying that momentum into the Champions League against Liverpool, as we defeated them 1-0 at home, with the goals being scored by Prestiani. And with Junior Krupi coming back into the lineup when we took on Atletico Madrid, we shocked them, as well as completely dominating the game, scoring 2 goals from Nelson Viper and winning 2-0. Just the month that we needed after our bad start and getting us back on track. I took a chance against Girona at the start of November by fielding a couple of our squad players who needed some first team football, and they came in clutch, with Turin scoring the first goal and the second being placed by Nelson Viper on a plate for the ongoing path of Stambuzi. It was great to have Junior Krupi back, and he was well on form and deadly against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, scoring both of our goals in a 2-0 away win from home. And then 2-0 became our favourite result, and it was so satisfying to see in the clean sheets. With this 3-0 Champions League victory ending a run of 5 games, winning 2-0 in a row. Not that I was complaining, we were playing outstanding right now. But we are still suffering because of that earlier month of bad form. That run was also incredible because it was without Yannick Behrens, who broke his ankle and has been out for the last 3 months and is soon to return. I took a chance and risked playing him earlier on because of suspensions elsewhere, and it paid off with him scoring on his first game back. Tight game though against Valencia, finishing 3-2. And we finally dropped points for the first time in months, losing 3-2 to Valladolid. Lucky that seemed to just be a minor hiccup on our season, and we got back to winning ways almost immediately with this 3-0 victory, with 2 goals being scored by Prestiani and Yannick Behrens. Behrens cannot stop scoring, and he scored in the next game against Young Boys in the Champions League too. Nelson Viper scored 4 goals in the final game of the year against Celta Vigo, a fantastic victory, and finally we can see our league form puts us back into 3rd position, and in the Champions League we're actually top of the league phase right now. But it's January and a couple of transfer bids have come in already, and Liverpool tried to sign Frank Jensen for an embarrassing amount, and the Nelson Viper deal did have me curious, but I wanted a lot more money up front, so I rejected both. I also think selling a player in January on this great run of form could be costly for our season, because every player is chipping in with goals and top performances. And hiccups like this draw to Sevilla from a 94th minute goal are becoming far less frequent now. And we finally lost the game in the Champions League 2 to Bayern Munich, before stomping Salzburg in the final league phase game 5-1, which is our best performance in the competition yet. Just 1 loss and 1 draw in our 8 games sees us finish in 2nd place, just behind Inter Milan. Our last game in the month of January in La Liga was against Athletic Bilbao, and the previous time we played against them we beat them, and this time was no different. Nelson Viper scored the first 2 goals, and our Danish centre-back Parup scored the 3rd in a 3-0 win, which does see us close the gap to 2nd place Real Madrid just to a point. We are still some way off, 9 points behind Barcelona, who are still yet to lose a game. Our success so far is probably down to Nelson Viper. He scored so many goals so far this season, 18 in the last 19 league appearances. Bringing in Turin could have actually been a stroke of genius, because although he hasn't replaced Viper, it's made him really step up his game even more. However, Turin did disappoint in the Copa del Rey 4th round, missing a penalty in the penalty shootout, leading to us being knocked out by Deportivo La Coruña, who are in the league below us. As great as it would have been to retain the cup, our focus was firmly on the league and Real Madrid, who we faced in the next match, and they took the lead through Vinicius Jr. on the 74th minute. However, we fought back almost immediately through great teamwork, and again we did control quite well. Yannick Behrens scored an equaliser on the 83rd minute, and there was still time for a little piece of magic. That came from Yannick Behrens once again with that through ball to Krupi, which won the game 2-1 in the 93rd minute. The defeat in the cup was the only game in February we didn't actually win, and that now sees us overtake Real Madrid in the league and go above them by 4 points into 2nd place, just 3 points behind Barcelona, although they do have a game in hand. In the Champions League though, we've been drawn against Real Sociedad in the round of 16. And in the first leg, we just simply couldn't break them down, and the game finished 0-0, and the man of the match was their goalkeeper, Ramiro. They really come at us in the 2nd leg though, and they finally opened the scoring with a really scrappy goal from a corner. We scored a very well worked corner of ourselves though. In fact, Nelson Viper taking the game into extra time, where unfortunately Real Sociedad won another penalty and knocked us out of the Champions League. That result really did affect us though, and Atletico Madrid took advantage of us, beating us 2-0 in the following fixture. The other 3 games this month, we ended up scoring 4 goals and ended the month with a 5-1 victory, which still sees us sat in 2nd place, but Real Madrid have a game in hand on us, which will put them a point behind. With Barcelona being a fixture that we had in January, I wasn't anticipating Real Sociedad being the fixture we really struggled in, and we lost 4-3. We looked like the team that was unbeaten all season though when Barcelona came to town. They were terrible, and we defeated them 2-0 with 2 goals from Nelson Viper and Frank Jensen. But a draw in Valencia is not good news. With wins either side of that draw, it still unfortunately does see us drop down into 3rd place, with Real Madrid overtaking us and Barcelona losing 3 games during that 1 month after both Real Madrid and us defeated them in April. However, fixtures are a lot more favourable than what Real Madrid's are, with 4 very winnable games. Whereas they have the Madrid derby as well as the Real Sociedad team that has defeated us 3 times in the last year. But while we were winning 3-0 against Rayo Vallecano, Real Madrid were also putting on a great performance with 2 goals from their right winger, Giovanni. I don't really know much about this Brazilian, but he seems like a very good, talented, right-sided winger, and I've only just moved to Real Madrid for £23 million and has scored 7 goals and got 11 assists in his first campaign in Spain. All we can do though is just keep winning our games, and that's exactly what we did against Celta Vigo, defeating them 2-0, and hope that Real Madrid dropped some points in the Madrid derby. But annoyingly, they won 3-1. Barcelona also continue to win, and they are just one victory away from winning the league title back from Real Madrid, which they managed to do, defeating Atletico Madrid, who seem to be in the back of a lot of losses lately. But anyway, they did it, 2-0 win, and they're title winners. Meanwhile, we have fallen 1-0 behind away to Granada in just the 3rd minute, which obviously isn't great for our 2nd place push, but thankfully Prestiani pulled one back on the half-hour mark before Yannick Bayern scored in the 69th minute to make it 2-1, and we held on for our win. Unfortunately for Real Madrid, though, they had the opposite thing happen to them and went 1-0 up, only to lose 2-1 at home to Real Sociedad, helping us reclaim 2nd place by 2 points with just 1 game to go. All we had to do was defeat Espanyol, who had nothing to play for down in 15th place, but we found ourselves 1-0 down after just 6 minutes, and panic stations started to come in because then they were 2-0 up with just 12 minutes gone on the clock from the penalty. Nelson Viper did pull one back 5 minutes later, but in the 2nd half, that's when we really started to cook, and he scored a penalty in the 70th minute to equalise, and then the hat-trick hero got himself his 3rd in the 77th minute, securing 2nd place for Mallorca. And we finally split the 2 dominant forces in Spain, with Nelson Viper scoring 34 goals and claiming the Golden Boot. And I'm actually quite proud of the fact that we managed to get 91 points this season. But the next step is to win the league. Quite a worrying thing happened in that Espanyol game, though, is that Yannick Bayern broke his ankle again. Now, thankfully, of course, that's the last game of the season, but is that going to be an ongoing problem? Because he is a world-class player. And if he has a recurrent injury, that's going to be so disappointing. Look how good he is, though. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. He keeps developing despite obviously missing so many games this season because of different injuries. 3 major injuries, broken foot and 2 broken ankles. What? He missed 3 months, and then another 3 months coming. He's going to miss 9 months in the space of a year. That's absolutely devastating for such a quality player. Anyway, back onto the development dive. We got Frank Jensen, also now a 5-star player. Another world-class centre attacking midfielder or left winger that we've got in. Hasn't had the best of seasons, just 12 goals, 9 assists. A very good average rating though, so still putting in the fantastic performances is our number 10. From Denmark. I think I've been a little bit too harsh. I just expect so much. Kind of out of nowhere though, Kanika Masarika is unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. 20 years of age. What a centre-back that we've picked up here from the FC Nordsjælland Youth Academy for just £4.6 million. This season, he's developed into a monster. 6'3", got great pace, unbelievable stuff. Really like how he is progressing. He's asking for new contracts as well. I'm going to have to go through and give a lot of these players new contracts. Cesar Torres, we highlighted during the episode. Unbelievable. He's developed even more since we looked at that. His mental attributes are fantastic. A lot of 18s and 19s in there, so really underrated if you just look at it at a glance. Junior Krupi just seemed to come in clutch so much this season. Another world-class by description, but I don't think he's quite as good attribute-wise as some of the other players that we've seen so far. But performance on the pitch, you cannot deny, has been exceptional for us. 17 goals and 11 assists this season. Saved us when we had a lot of bad form. He came in quite clutch quite a few times. Nelson Viper, I'm so unsure with. Like, he's scoring so many goals, but he just doesn't look like he's as good as what he actually is on the pitch. 34 league goals this season, 10 more than last season when I said I wanted to sell him. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. Prestiani still around. He is now wanted. I could look at selling Prestiani, although he looks like he's actually got better again. Like, the development seems to halt last season and the season before, but he seems to have got better. On the pitch, he hasn't. Maybe it is time to cash in on Prestiani. I mean, he's worth like £70 million because we kind of do need the money. We haven't got a lot of money to spend. Our actual transfer budget, by the way, is only £24 million. We're losing a few players, which will help, that I just decided we'll never get any money for. Leandro Morgala, again, phenomenal stuff. He's done absolutely incredible. The player I want to highlight the most, because if you go on here, the 15 assists, only behind Yeremy Pino. He probably played a lot more games. He also got the most yellow cards. Is Lucien Toma. He's played so many games off the bench. Well, actually, no, there's only 3 appearances off the bench. 31 appearances only starting. 15 assists for a centre midfielder, because Yannick Behrens, he played a lot more because of Yannick Behrens' injury, because sometimes Yannick Behrens drops into that centre midfield spot, so I can give other people game time, and Lucien Toma sometimes misses out. I mean, it's helped him. It's definitely helped him. Our Danish centre-back pour up. We've got a really good centre-back partnership now, and I don't want to change that at all. They're quite young still. I think they're both 20 and 21, so two of the world's best centre-backs, and they're both playing for me, and they're both 21 or under. Satoshi Kawasaki as well has had some really good games this season, and he's actually developed really well. You can see a lot of green attributes going up there, which is fantastic. And then you've also got the likes of Matteo Torrin, who came into the side and pushed Viper to all those goals, and yet he looks better than Viper. This is what I mean. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next season. Takata, I think we might have to cash in on early because he is so disappointed all the time with the lack of game time he's getting. He's also torn his knee ligaments and he's been out for a couple of weeks. He will be out for another 3 months, so I won't be able to sell him immediately, but only 6 starts and 15 appearances off the bench. He got 3 assists and he kept on coming to me and being annoyed, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Delgado played a few games there, but I'm pretty sure I put him up for I did put him up for non-competitive, I think, but he hasn't played any games in the youth academy there. Ferenczi has played quite a few games more than what I thought he would, coming off the bench quite often, but starting 8 games as well, 21 appearances there, so still lacking a bit of development. I would hope by 20 years of age he'd have been a bit better than that, but I can't even loan him out. Like, nobody wants to come in for loan. David Medina, the goalkeeper that just keeps on giving back. Obviously, that big injury at the start, we suffered, definitely. There is a couple of clubs who are always interested, Udinese being one of them, but I'm never going to sell him, and if they come in for 70, then maybe, but I'm never going to sell him for the price of what they were trying to get him last season. Stan Bazzi, I feel like he's going to need Rafael Luiz to leave if we're going to play Stan Bazzi and see him what he can do to his full potential. He's also wanted as well. We could cash in £27 million, but right now, like, Rafael Luiz, nobody wants him, and he's only 25, but he's so good. So it's going to be a time where I'm going to have to sell Rafael Luiz, and I need somebody who is going to be just as good, if not better. And Stan Bazzi, I'm unsure whether he can give me that. When he plays, he's still good. 6.97 average rating, but he played less than what he did last season, and last season was his first season in the league. I don't really know. Dimitri actually played quite a few games, which I'm surprised with, Romanian. I put him up for the under-21s or under-19s, and then I realised I need to actually use him quite a lot for rotational purposes, and he did quite well, to be fair. But outside of that, in the development center, we've got some players who are developing quite nicely that we can see here. A lot of green arrows on Victor Arce. We got Bruno Vukic, who's actually done really well. The Bosnian centre-back, and developed into an insane player that I might actually have to use next year because he's only 18. Looks really good. Drajan, I'm trying to loan him out, but last season nobody wanted him. I think people are going to want him this year because look how good he actually looks. Same as Nicolas Jimenez, development-wise, growing quite nicely in the youth academy there. So all's going quite well in the youth academy. There's another guy there, Ndai, who I've picked up, who has really good dribbling, finishing, and first touch ability from Senegal, only 150k. I mean, these prices that I'm picking up these players for are absolutely incredible. The one that I'm like, right, I think this could be the guy that will take over everybody is Rene Pedersen if we can get his pace up, and his pace has increased because when he signed he was only 17 and he had some unbelievable mental attributes, but I think it was a professional or fairly professional personality, but it's gone to a driven one now because his determination being so high. If we can get his pace up to like a 15, I think he could be a monster. I really do, because my scouts rate him so highly. He's both-footed. I want him to learn, because his technique was high as well. That's the one thing I looked. I thought, great finishing, great technique. This guy looks like an absolute monster. So we'll see how that goes anyway. But there's a lot of players in my youth academy right now that I'm like, right, it's either time for them to step up or time for them to go. I don't really know what's going to happen, but now that we're second in the league, I don't really want to lose that momentum. I want to at least stay in the top 3, and we got to make a push for that title, because, hey, we're only 4 points behind Barcelona this season. We didn't win a cup, and we were out very early in the Champions League, unfortunately. That league title could be ours within the next couple of years. We really need to make a push for it.